Hey guys, it's Vanity, Ezel by Harper Vanguard, Ezel and Vanity weekly reviews. If you guys enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe, and sorry. This time we have more generic card reveals overall. We also have the reveal of, I want to say it was Youthberg. No, it wasn't Youthberg. It was Wirbel Dragon and someone else's reveals. Like, let's just and see what we got. Also, Levy-Draw's got a really good random support card this set. I don't know why Levy-Draw specifically, but whatever. First up, we have Jolt Spark Dragon, Great Tune, 5k shield, 10k base, continues rear guard circle during turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, and your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, he gets 5,000 power. Then auto put on guard circle if either damage zone has 5 or more cards in it, or an attack hit your Vanguard this turn. Soul Boss 1 gets 10,000 shield for the battle. So cool, we've been getting these a lot this entire set. It's our grade 2 card that has really good offensive power, 15k shield, and a possible 15k base as well once your opponent has 1 or less rear guards. I say it's one of the worst ones to pull off because I think the other ones that I remember, our grade 2s, just simply required like pretty much every single deck that belongs to that nation's main gimmick, while this one requires you to play retiring cards, which not every Dragon Empire deck plays. But I could also be very wrong because I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. But it's not a bad card, it's just not a great card in my opinion. Then we have Soaking Draco Kid, Great on Boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto drops them when the Secret Bath Draco Cry Hot Springs, aka it's a set order that when you rest it once per turn you can actually charge 1. Is played from your hand and put into your order zone. Energy left 3, call to rear guard circle, and your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3, guys 5 the power for the turn. Okay, this isn't bad. It's not, especially if there was a whole deck built around that order. The issue is there was not a whole deck built around that order. More importantly, no one in their right mind I think plays that order because unless your deck is built around it, which again no one can because there's no archetype that works with it, it's kind of 50-50. I mean, if you want to, you could tech this into Wirbel and run it and see how far you go with it. I don't recommend it, but I would love to see someone actually go about doing that because it'd be funny to me. Moving on, we have Demonic Dragon Nymph Joai. This card could have been used to, you know, make a Nymph card to support the other random order deck that exists, the Nymph one. Great on Boost, like I showed, okay, base, auto, rear guard circle. Once per turn when this unit boosts, if you Vanguard a grade 3 grade, you play in normal order this turn, your opponent cannot intercept on the battle. This could have been a good Nymph card. You know, it's fine. I'll save my critique for Nymphs when they eventually give us a ride line for it. I mean, well, it only took them to give us, like, I don't know, 13 sets to give us an actual Takekaze ride line. So, you know, it's possible. Is it likely? No, but it's possible. Then we have Invincible Brave Shooter, great chance of I can show tank base. Also, just to prove my point that it's possible, you know, we got Gear Spiral after having Timestamp, who they could have given a ride line to, and then after having Chronojet, who already had a ride line. So, just saying, even though it's very unlikely that we're going to get a line for Nymphs, it is a possibility, just very doubtful. Anyways, Brave Shooter is a great chance of I can show tank base, continues rear guard target during turn, friends, Vanguard's get 3 greater, and an order card was put into your drops on this turn, it gets 5,000 power. Okay, I love how this one is the easiest in my opinion to pull off, because this is put an order card into your drop zone. That means you don't have to play the order. It just means you have to yeet one into drops at any point. So you could just play something like Philander and mill one of them from the top 5, and oh, what you do, it's an order, play it. Or, if you want to take the fun route, you play Shadow Cloak, that one Zorga support card from, I want to say, D set 3, the one with the variety I expect on the card art, or maybe been set 2. It may have been set 2 or set 3. But you play Shadow Cloak, and then you just immediately ditch an order, whoop-de-damn do, he's a 15k base. And then auto and put on guard Zorga in the standard if your damage has 5 more cards in it, or your attack hits the Vanguard turn, so I'm going to give attack show for the battle. Not bad, standard card. Something I will say, though, about his flavor text, if I remember correctly, it was like, it was like, I am here, you shall not pass, or something like that. Either way, I remember it reminded me of All Might. I was like, yeah, so All Might with guns, apparently. Then we have Armor Piercing Brave Shooter, great chance to 5k show, tank base, auto rear guard once per turn when your opponent's unit is put on guard circle. If it's the first time a Guardian was put this battle, and it's the opponent, if it's the battle of this unit attacked, counter boss 1, choose one opponent's Guardians, make it lose 5,000 shield for the battle. Okay, I wish this wasn't a once per turn, because it still specifies it has to be for the first time, and basically how it works is it only picks the first Guardian, but if your opponent plays like multiple Guardians at the same time, it's still only going to pick one of them to make it lose 5k shield. But I mean, it's not that broken to where it couldn't be a once per turn, because I think this could be like a very cool support card that hints at the evolution of Flagberg. Bushy just saying, Flagberg, we should get an evolution sometime around now, but you know, you do you. Then we have Busybody Pod Antelina, great on boost 5k shield, get base, auto and put on guard circle, pass 3, she gets 5,000 shield ton about for each grade of your attacking unit. So we have this card that's been going around generically for every nation, where you know they have the energy blast 3 5k shield for each grade, and then we have this one that can get extra shield if you took a damage or have 5 more damage. It's a 15k base depending on if something happened or not. And now we have Drag Ritter Daria. Great on boost 5k shield, aka based on some of our Wirbel support cards. Such a beautiful art. You cannot tell me this thing looks awesome doesn't look awesome as hell. But unfortunately, it has a skill that I don't think warrants being ran in Wirbel. But it's still really cool looking. Like, this thing is so clean. Continues rear guard to guard, so every Vanguard to grade 3 get a Wirbel, gets 5,000 shield, 5,000 power after both his turns. Again, it's not a bad skill. 13k base, 10k shield. That's great generically. If this came out in the first set Wirbel came out in, I'm not going to say it you should have ran it then, but I'm just saying like you more likely would have ran it. Now I don't think you're gonna run it at all, but I mean it's still a really cool looking card, honestly. And then we have Drag Witter Harris, great to 5k show tanky base. Okay, that lightning background is amazing. Auto rearguard when it attacks anything. If your vanguards are grade 3 or greater and you have energy blasted for the cost of your card's ability this turn at all, mind you. So doesn't matter what card you energy blasted for, and it doesn't specifically matter what grade or what your vanguard is. It could be anything. It doesn't even have to be Whirlpool Dragon. It just works best with Whirlpool. This unit is 5 less power for the battle. Then if your opponent's rearguard is retired this turn by your card effect, again by any card effect, not even the thing that costs the energy, Soul Blast 1 to end of battle when your opponent card cards and guard circles 2 more at the same time. That's an incredible ability. Doesn't require Whirlpool. Literally just requires you to energy blast for any skill whatsoever. So this thing procs off with things like Bafsagra, Zukshot, the energy blast 3, drop on arms, draw 2 cards. It works by having the energy generator because the energy blast 7 would still count towards that. And you know, you just have to be on a grade 3, and if you want the extra ability, play any nuke card. And this is Dragon Empire, they're full of them. Just play any generic nuke and you got it. And then we have Drag Witter Sodic, great chance of 5k show tank base. Okay, this card looks really cool. Unlike the other ones whose background look awesome, this one just like his art looks really cool to me. So auto and place on rearguard circle from hand, choose a grade 3 card with Whirlpool on this card from your ride deck. You may reveal it. If you reveal a card or your vanguard's a grade 3 greater with Whirlpool on the card name, CB1, check the top 5 to 1 card greater, let's take it to your vanguard called rearguard circle shuffle. If you vanguard's a grade 3 greater, it gets 5 that's power for the turn. So cool, it gets you a superior card from the top 5. Honestly, not bad. Allows Whirlpool to have a little bit of board presence. And then auto rearguard and the end of your turn. If you energy blast a 6 or more in total for the cost of the act ability of your grade 3 greater vanguard Whirlpool in the card name this turn, you may retire him. If you do, either energy charge 3 or choose a card from your drop zone and put it to soul. So either it's a way to put a Whirlpool in your drop zone back into soul, so in case you don't have a persona ride for next turn, or you can't guarantee a persona ride, you can therefore get your Whirlpool to end up restanding with drive checks, or you get 3 energy, that way you can guarantee energy blast 6 again next turn, because he gets you 3, and then you'll have an additional 3 from, you know, just you starting the turn thanks to the energy generator. Or if you use up all your energy and need something defensive like Drag Wizard Fall Heart, there you go. Honestly, amazing grade 2. Best part is, not once per turn, so if you have multiple of them on the board, you can pluck all of them off at once. It gives you rearguard for simple CB, and you can refresh your resources, either energy or soul, just by simply existing on the board after energy blasting 6 or more in a turn, so making it a really solid 4 for purple. Then we have Stylish Looper Crashell, grade 1 boost by Shoto base. Okay, this is a awesome art. Like these 4 cards, amazing arts. Bushy went ham on these ones. Auto and place on rearguard circle from the hand. Choose a grade 3 card Artisaria and its card name from your red deck. You may reveal it. If you reveal a card or vanguard is a grade 3 card of Artisaria in the card name, Caraboss 1 draw a card. I wish it would have been Caraboss 1 make a Shadow Army, but then there's no point for Lumiel, I guess, even though Lumiel is arguably worse, because as I came to realize after playing the deck for a hot minute, Lumiel requires you to have it in hand. And then auto rearguard when it boosts, if your order zone has a sound system, it gets 5,000 power for the battle. Then if this unit is boosting a grade 3 or greater vanguard art starting the card name, I was about to say, I don't know where the hell this thing's going to get boosted from because I thought it was a grade 2. It's actually a grade 1. It gets 2,000 power for the battle. Then by Soul Blasting 1, choose one of your rear guards, and it gets auto when retired from rear guard circle, bounce it back to your hand till end of turn. Okay, so cool. You can pop that ability off right before Artisaria called Shadow Armies. So say, for example, you have a Lumiel on board and you can't afford Eureka to bounce it because Eureka's expensive as all hell. You can play Crescenal to end up giving Lumiel the skill to when it dies, bounce back to hand, or any unit that when it dies, it goes back to hand. Call Shadow Army token on top of it, bounce the unit back to your hand. There you go, you can reloop it for next turn. Not a bad grade 1. I personally don't think Artisaria needs this, just because, like, yeah, it's a good booster for Artisaria, but, you know, the Shadow Army token is just inherently better as a booster, and, I mean, it doesn't cost soul. I mean, yes, it gets you an extra bounce there, but that's pretty much it, in my opinion. Though it is a nice card just to spend CB on just for free draws, and, I mean, it's not a bad grade 1 at all. I just don't think, like, you need to waste money on it if you don't think you need it, if you know what I mean. And then we have our Zorga cards, because Zorga, who I had to check this because I genuinely didn't remember. Zorga, who hasn't gotten support since DZ set 4. So what, we're set 11 now, I think. No, we're set 11. So we are 7 sets later, and we're finally getting a Zorga card that specifically mentions Zorga in the card name, or Alchemagic for that matter. Look out, Hunter Villager, grade 1 boost by Shoto K base, auto and placed on rear guard circle by the ability for grade 3 get a Vanguard Zorga in the card name, energy charge 1. Ah, yes, the first Zorga support card in over half a year, and it's simply put when placed on your rear guard by the Vanguard's ability, energy charge 1. I was so disappointed in this, and I was like, okay, the next card's gonna suck. And honestly, the next card's kind of fine. I kind of wish we would have got this sooner. So, Remain Smashing, or like some of its translations, but Meat Remain Smashing. Point is, his name is just generically Remain Smashing. Grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 8k base, no extra crit pressure for some reason. Auto hand or drop zone. When you're Vanguard with Zorga and his card name with divine skill attacks, if you have not have a rear guard with the same card name on this as your board, counter boss 1, retire one of your rear guards, call it the rear guard circle for each different name among the normal orders in your bind zone, he gets 5,000 power. So essentially, for a CB, you call him and he basically gets a Abomination of Pending Karma's effect minus the extra critical, and on the bright side, he allows you to have multi-attack. So now Zorga goes from being a 4 attack deck to being a 5 attack deck, which is still pretty solid considering most of Zorga's abilities can become continuous abilities that pump up his power, and I mean at least it gets some power from having different names in Order Zone. Mind you, that ability is not restricted to the opponent being a grade 3, so you can bully your opponent out with 4 attacks on their grade 2 Vanguard. And then auto rear guard, at the end of this unit attack the Vanguard, CB1, bind it, choose a normal order with Regalia's Piece and his card from your drop without Regalia's Piece from your bind zone, and put it back to your hand. So it can recycle your orders from your bind zone, which is pretty solid. That means you can play them again if you only saw 1 copy, or if you don't have an order in your hand. It eats a lot into the CB. However, to my memory, none of Zorga's cards from DZ cost CB except for maybe 1. So maybe this card is really good. I am now tempted to go try this in Zorga because honestly, his art is awesome. And now that I'm reading it again, this card isn't as bad as I thought it was. This card is not that great, but this card, I wish I had double crit pressure, but I'll take what I can get, honestly. And then we have Dreamy Lavender Amaryllis. So I remember right before set 11 started, I complained to my friend that I hate how Bushy does reveals where like they have the entire reveal for a specific deck in one day, and then they don't reveal any more cards for it. Like when they do a big reveal, like for example, Chris Rain, when Chris Rain got revealed, you normally would get all of her support that day, and then she wouldn't get support for the rest of the set. I like it when they just split it up instead, because that means it gives you something to look forward to, at least in my opinion, and that way it gives you multiple times to try out the deck with different strategies instead of just trying it out with everything all at once. So Dreamy Lavender Amaryllis, great on boost back at Shoto K base. Auto will discard from your hand during your turn. You may put this card to your soul. Auto soul when your Vanguard Chris Rain's card name is placed during right phase. If you do not have a rear guard saying card name is an energy box 3 call to rear guard circle. So he eats itself into souls by ditching it, and then it can superior call itself out. It's not the greatest support card for Chris Rain, but I mean, cool. You get 3 energy literally right before this card will be applicable for its skill anyways, and it can superior call itself out in case you really do need board press, and it gets you soul for other reasons. That way you can use many of Chris Rain's soul bosses, so not a bad 3 of, I guess. Then we have Playing with All My Heart Tive, grade 3 turn person on 30k base. Auto rear guard when this unit is chosen by the ability of a grade 3 get advantage Chris Rain the card, gets 5,000 power for the turn. Okay, it's not bad, but there are so many better options. I'm going to give you another recommendation for this. Then we have Considerate Helper Lean Rick, grade 1 boost back Shoto K base. Lovely hair. You are not going to run this in Chris Rain. Auto rear guard when your other units and calm as is returned to your hand from rear guard circle. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 with Chris Rain the card name, so boss 1 bounce to their hand as well. Chris Rain has so much better support cards, especially with Credenza just walking around being able to bounce anything. You do not need this in your deck at all, but it, it's a solid 2 of if you really want to run it. Then we have Council Yurtis. I don't know where the hell Bushy got the idea for this card. This really cool wolf horse thingy is awesome. So Council Yurtis skills, a grade 2 insect 5k show 10k base, really amazing art with like the mantis scythes on like the fox with Foxel's wings. Like this is a combination between Kuon's best cards. Auto place on rear guard circle, choose a grade 3 card, Levy Johnson's card name from your right deck, and you may reveal it. If you reveal a card or your Vanguard's already a grade 3 card with Levy Johnson card name, CB1 draw a card, then discard the top of your deck. Okay, so a lot of Levy draws decks, at least back when Imperial was around, people would run Starfaria, who would basically get you a deck stack and or a deck mill, and then get you a superior call. This instead gets you a hand card, which could technically turn into a superior call, and then mills you the top card of your deck, so it doesn't guarantee you a trigger, but it still gets you a hand card and fills up your drop zone. And then auto rear guard, when this unit is on a rear guard circle with Infinity Eyes marker on it and attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, this unit gets 5,000 power for the turn, so it's a plus a total of 15k. Then Soul Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, so end of your opponent's next turn, that unit cannot intercept and does not stand during the stand phase. Why is Levy Joss getting a random control tool now? I won't understand. Like, this card is so cool, and you cannot tell me this card's art does not give off this should be an aggressive unit vibe, like something that gets extra critical in a very specific situation, or something that can restand but like with a heavy restriction or something like that. Like, this card looks so cool and is on a skill that I unfortunately will never run. Or like if this skill was different, I would run it. Like, even if it was just more power, I would run it, because this skill is honestly very solid, but whatever. Then we have Fresh Green Claws Dornoria, grade 1 boost back at Shoto K base. Auto put when this card is put into your soul by your card's ability during your turn, whether it's by soul charging, straight up just hard sending it to soul via something like, I don't really think Levy Draws has a card that can do that, but like any send to soul ability. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 Levy Draws in the card name, either counter charge 1 or energy charge 3. Okay, that's a very good ability because it can get you 1 of 2 resources very easily. The downside is, unlike every other card that exists that can play off of Levy Draws' ability, I mean, this can play played off of Levy Draws' ability, because I remember Levy Draws can send any card from hand to soul. But like, even though I don't know how to feel about it. It just feels weird that this card's basically vanilla anywhere else but being put to soul, and every other time after that it's still vanilla. I don't like this card. It's okay, but I wouldn't put it past a 1 of or 2 of tech. Then we have Glowing Drake. Okay, this thing is so cute, and you are never going to run this. Actually, I could see some people running in defensive levy drops because apparently that's a thing now. So, Great One boost 5 can show that get base auto rear guard when your Great 3 get a Vanguard levy drops in the card name is attacked. If your Infinity has markers like Calm as a unit, retire, choose one of your Vanguards being attacked with 10 power for that battle. So, there's free 10k shield on rear guard circle. Not bad. This thing can be just spawned in the rear guard circle, and then you can revive it via things. Like, actually, no, Safaria cannot revive it because it's not a grade 2, but it's not a bad grade 1. It's not an amazing grade 1, but it's like a solid like 3 of just to have extra defense power for levy drops if you want to play levy drops defense.
On to our final reviews for the day. First up, we have one who arrived at Paradise Florist. Great on boost 5k show deck base. Love the cute little butterfly wings there. Auto in the drop zone. If you do not have a copy of this on your board, reduce this cost by Soul Boss 1. When your grade 3 Greater Vanguard Nannaclir is placed during your ride phase, Soul Boss 1 call to rear guard circle. So pretty solid there that it can superior call itself when the Vanguard is placed, and if you don't have a copy of it, you can just superior call itself for free, which is really helpful against decks that can clear your board, such as Prison, like we saw in the anime, or just any like board new deck in general. That way you can easily or re-enter Stray Garden if your opponent gets rid of your board. And then auto rear guard when they boost if your board is Stray Garden, choose one of your units and you may give it 5,000 power for the turn. If you do, retire this unit at the end of the turn. Pretty solid. It can end up boosting up your unit a lot just by simply boosting with this. It doesn't grade restrict your opponent to being at grade 3, so you can just blow down your opponent with really big numbers, especially with this thing backing it. So that's a very solid grade 1, being able to again recall itself but also increase your rear guard's power. Moving on, we have one who arrived at Paradise, Belle Noir. The last thing I thought we were going to get was a grade 3 support card. Honestly, when I saw it was a grade 3, I was disappointed in it, and then I saw its skill, and then I was like, yeah, no, it's good. So grade 3, 29% 30k base. Contains rear guard if your board is Stray Guardian, gets 5,000 power permanently, so 18k base. Auto rear guard, when this unit attacks anything, perform all the following. If this unit stood by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard of Nannaclir in its card name this turn, and its critical was not increased by abilities other than by the effect of triggers, aka things like the over trigger, critical triggers, etc., this turn, this unit gets +1 critical to the battle. At the end of the battle, yeeted to soul. Okay, so this thing has double crit pressure, and if you were paying attention, just like the Cade Melifalti order, the thing that works really well with Nannaclir, this does not require the opponent to be at grade 3 to get the extra crit. And as we saw in both episodes of the anime, or as we saw specifically in the last episode of the anime, this thing can hit wild numbers before the opponent even hits grade 3, so pressure. And then if your board is Stray Guard and Soul Boss 1 copy of your Vanguard, it gets 10,000 power for the battle. So cool, 23k swing with a booster, 31k swing, triggers, 41k swing, this thing, 46k swing, etc. Like, Belle Noir, very solid, grade 3 to have in the deck, easy 4 of. Then we have Knight of the Vast Oswin. Great on boost 5k show deck base. Auto rear guard when it boosts if your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater Liael. Either for each card in your bind zone, he gets 2,000 power for the battle. Honestly, not bad. I mean, yes, you want to use your bind zone cards more defensively when it comes to things like Liael and Morta, but on your first grade 3 turn or before your opponent starts forcing you to use Liael and Morta, this thing can get pretty good numbers out of it because it's going to get 2k for every single card you bind, and you're binding 2 to 3 cards every single turn, so not a bad grade 1 to have in the deck. So like 2 of, 1 of tech just for the number push. Then we have Knight of Severance Celadon, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. This card's a really good card as we saw during the anime, so auto and bound by the ability of your Vanguard of Liael in the card name during your turn, whether it's bound from drop zone, rear guard, hand, etc. So I was one call to back or rear guard circle at the end of the turn, bind this unit. So pretty solid because I remember correctly, Liael can bind from drop zone now with Dragoness. I haven't seen Dragoness in a hot minute, but I'm pretty sure she can bind from drop zone, meaning you can just recycle her every single turn as long as you have soul, even if she ends up in drop zone. And continues rear guard if you have a grade 3 get a Vanguard of Liael in the card name, she gets boost, so that way you can superior call herself to the back row and then still be able to boost with her, especially after like the battle phase where you bind her when she attacks and then recall her so she can boost the thing that is going to be replacing her. And on top of that, she goes back to the bind zone at the end of the turn, so that way, again, like we saw in the anime, you can reuse it with Liael and Morta. All around, very solid grade 2 to have. I think this is a solid like 3 of, not a 4 of Liael, just because it gives really good defensive power, but also really good defensive power as well. And without further ado, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoy. Next week we'll be getting new cards for both Jejeweled Magnus and Ezel. Not to mention the fact that Jejeweled Magnus is guaranteed, because we saw an image of it, we are guaranteed to get a new Demonic Jewel Dragon grade 3, so more cards that can support Magnus very specifically. So without further ado, I'm here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next one. Up your Vanguards.